Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey. It's been a lot of a day. My babysitter didn't come today because of illness, and my parents said that they would take over, but every time I appear for a moment, they disappear. And I'm like, I have another thing to do. I have to go to another class. So it's been an interesting day. What do you need today?
um, Nothing in particular. I feel pretty good. So I would say the usual,
Okay,
some good meditation and movement.
great.
Great.
Let's start in child's pose today. So in child's pose, let's focus on feeling forehead and third eye against the mat and finding our breath. Let's walk hands over towards the right edge of the mat, stretch through the left shoulder. Back through center and over to the left. Back to center. Bring the hands to the outsides of the knees. And you're going to start to move your forehead back towards your knees, as close to your knees as you can, tucking the chin as much into the chest as you can for hare pose. On your inhale, you can lift your hips. Start to roll towards the back of your head, stretching through the neck. You might feel this in the upper back as well. Releasing the hips down. We're going to lift the head and the chest up. Sitting up tall. If this is an uncomfortable position, you can either sit on a block or you can bring legs out in front of you. I'm going to take some meditation here. Start to form a really gentle smile with your mouth. Just notice how it feels. Maybe the smile grows, maybe it stays small. When you're ready, start to walk your hands forward, coming onto hands and knees. If you have a block, you can set it to the side. From hands and knees, start to find some movement, maybe cat-cow, maybe hips and shoulders to one side and then the other. And then on your next breath, bring your forearms down to the ground, under the shoulders. Press your palms down. Spread the fingers wide, tuck the toes. We're just gonna lift the knees, maybe just an inch or two off the mat. So from here, see if you can spread your toes wide and keep the belly really engaged. On your next inhale, step the feet back, finding your plank pose on forearms. Still keeping a lot of engagement in the core. Let's lower the hips down, coming into Sphinx pose. Drag the chest forward. Let's release forehead to the mat. Slide the hands back until they're under the shoulders. Now start to reach the elbows towards each other, shoulder blades towards each other. And then on your next inhale, lift the head, lift the chest. Hands are going to stay resting on the ground, but they're not going to take on any weight. Keep dragging the chest forward. Keeping the chest lifted, the feet are going to step out wide, a little wider than the mat. Press down into the tops of the feet. See if you can lift the chest a little higher. Press down into the tops of the feet. Now let's bend the knees, flex the feet. You might find a little stretch in your quads. Press the pubic bone down. And then lift the heels. So this is going to be all through your back and in your glutes, maybe a little bit in the hamstrings, but if you're feeling it a lot in the hamstrings, mostly in the hamstrings, take a little bit of bend out of the knees. On your next exhale, release down. Tuck your toes, bring your feet back into hip width distance. Press up to plank. And then back to down dog. Let's take 5 more breaths here. Let's lift the heels high. And then take a few steps forward so that your feet come to the middle of the mat. Hands can still be a little closer towards the front of the mat. Inhale to lift up halfway. And then bring your weight forward so that you have weight in the balls and the heels of the feet. Now let's walk the hands back towards the feet. Weight comes back into the heels. Little bend in the knees. Let's lift up halfway again. This time, hands to the fronts of the shins. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Squeeze the glutes. Spread the toes wide. On your next inhale, squeeze the glutes, the hamstrings in the back. Lift up slowly. Exhale, hands to heart. Pull the flesh just above the pubic bone in and up. Inhale to lift the heels high. And then exhale, lower the heels almost to the ground. Inhale, arms and heels lift. Exhale, hands to heart, heels lower down. Inhale, arms reach up, heels lift. Exhale, hands to heart, heels lower down. Let's do 3 more like that. Follow your own pace. And then heels all the way down. On your exhale, hinge forward. Drop your head, find your stretch. Now, from wherever your stretch is, wherever you're folded to, hands are going to walk forward. If they can't reach the ground, you can use a block or a stack of books under them. Reach them forward as far as you can, and then start to bend the knees, send the hips back. It's okay if the knees come a little further forward than the ankles, as long as it doesn't feel uncomfortable in the knees. Squeeze the glutes, start to lift the head, lift the chest. You can stay here, or you can lift the arms as well. Let the weight come a little more into the heels. On your exhale, lower the hips down. Let the heels either move forward or lift up, coming into your boat pose. From boat pose, we're going to reach the arms forward, point the toes. So if toes are on the ground, heels can lift up. Now let's cross the hands over the chest, hand to opposite elbow. Opposite shoulder. And then we're going to start to find a little bit of twisting here. So on your exhale, right elbow to left knee, and then left elbow to right knee. Inhale to center. You can switch. Go back and forth. You don't have to follow the breath if you want to go a little quicker. And then come back to center, reach the arms out. Let's slowly lower down. We're going to bend the knees. Press the feet flat, lift the hips. Find your bridge pose. See if you can lengthen the tailbone enough that the quads start to find a stretch. If your quads are really open, you might not find this stretch at all. Now, bend the elbows, palms face each other, open wide. Start to press down into the upper arms, into the elbows, and into the heels. Squeeze the knees towards each other as if you're squeezing into a ball or a block. And slowly lower down. And then extend the legs up towards the ceiling. Clasp your hands behind your head. Let's start to lift the head, lift the shoulders, and then slowly lowering the legs down about halfway. On your next exhale, lift the legs up, lower the head and the chest. Engage the lower belly, press the low back down. Exhale, lift your head, lift your shoulders. Let's lower the right leg almost to the ground. And then start to find a twist to the left. Inhale back to center, both legs up. Release the head and shoulders down, take a breath. And then lifting up head and shoulders with your exhale. Lower the left leg almost to the ground, find your twist to the right. Come back to center. Head and shoulders down. Let your head be heavy in your hands. Keep that low belly engaged. We're going to lower the legs down about halfway. And then exhale, slowly lift up. Bend the knees. Bring them into the chest. Lift the hips. Inhale to lower down halfway. Maybe a little more. Exhale, bring them in. Make sure you're not using your momentum to lift the hips. Let's do 8 more. Five more. Last one. We might have done a couple of extra. Spring feet flat. Reach the arms alongside the ears, get long. We're going to lift the hips and move them over to the right edge of the mat. Extend the legs over to the left side of the mat, but keep both hips down. So you might start to feel a stretch in the right hip and side body. And then arms, head, and shoulders can reach over to the left side as well. Looking for a stretch through the whole side of the body. Come back to center. Bend the knees, lift the hips, move them over to the left. Legs to the right. And then arms, head, and shoulders over to the right as well. Let's come back to center. Take a moment here. You might even bring your knees into your chest and give them a little squeeze. Maybe even finding happy baby. And then as you're ready, we're going to roll up to a seat or roll over to the side and push up to a seat. Let's keep a little bend in the knees for the start of our stretch. And then try to tip your pelvis forward so your tailbone is reaching back. Hinge forward and find your forward fold. Inhale to lift up. We'll cross the ankles, roll forward onto hand, step back to your plank. We're going to take some deep breaths here. Five more deep breaths. Find the upper back engagement, armpits towards the waist, and then shoulder blades together a bit. Lower down slowly. Inhale, lifting up to your baby cobra first. And then pressing into the hands, lifting up just another inch or two. On your exhale, release. Inhale, press up to plank. Exhale, down dog. Stay in your down dog. Take some deep breaths. And then when you're ready, step to the top of the mat. Come to your standing forward fold. Let's bring hands either down to the ground or onto blocks. Out in front of the feet, maybe a couple of inches, 6 inches. Start to bring your weight over into your left leg. Lift up onto the right toes just a bit, and then you can start to lift the right leg out to the right side. On your exhale, you're going to bring your right leg down under the right hip, but without bringing it to the ground. And then inhale, step the right foot back to a lunge. Hands can walk back to frame the left foot. Now get comfortable here, or at least get engaged. We're going to pull the left hip back, press the right hip forward just a bit. Feel the left glute engage. And then keep the right hand down. We're going to start to lift the left arm up, turn the chest to the left, pull the left hip back even a little bit more, and maybe bend more deeply into the left knee. You can look up towards your left fingertips. On your exhale, right knee comes down. We're going to keep that twist, but lift up. Right hand comes to the outside of the left knee. Left hand can come to the left hip or the right hip or the back of the right thigh. And find a little low exalted warrior. On your next inhale, both arms up, turn your chest forward. Keep the right toes tucked, lift the right knee. Keep lifting the right knee as high as you need to find a nice stretch in the front of the right hip. Let's clasp the hands behind the head. We're going to bring the right heel down. You might need to step your right foot forward a bit to find that alignment. Coming into warrior one. On your exhale, hinge your chest forward to 45 degrees or so. On your exhale, you're going to twist right elbow towards the left knee. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist. Let's do 2 more. Back up to center. Let's reach the arms up. Lift your gaze, start to press the palms together. Let's bring the weight into the left leg, hands to heart, right knee into the chest. Let's really lift the right knee high so the left glute is really engaged. And then turn the right knee out to the right side. So as you do this, You might keep your right hand on your right knee, or you might bring it back to center. On your next breath, release the right foot down. Reach the arms forward, sit back to your chair pose, maybe bringing the torso down parallel to the ground. On your next exhale, hands to the ground. Hips can lift for your standing forward fold. On your next inhale, step back to plank. Deep belly breathing. Five more deep breaths here. On your next exhale, slow lower down. Inhale to cobra or baby cobra. Start to lift up a little higher. Slowly release down. Tuck the toes, inhale, press up to plank. Exhale to down dog. Step or hop to the top of the mat. Finding your fold, walk the hands out in front of you. And then walking the hands back so they're just about 6 to 8 inches, maybe even less, in front of your toes, or maybe on some blocks. We're going to start to bring the weight over into the right foot. Maybe lifting the left heel, lifting the left foot, and then open out to the side. As you lower your leg, foot is not going to touch the ground. Inhale, step it back to a high lunge. We're going to plant the left hand down. And then inhale, reach the right arm out and up. Get strong through the legs. Pull the right hip back. Keep the legs really engaged. Maybe looking up towards the right hand. On your exhale, left knee comes down. And then inhale up, find your twist. Left hand can come to the outer edge of the right knee. Right hand can come behind the left thigh or to either hip. Let's turn forward. Both arms up. Keep the left toes tucked, lift the left knee. Finding your high lunge. Press the palms, lift the gaze. Keep lifting the left knee. Find the stretch in the front of the hip. Let's bring hands to heart, no hands behind the head. And then we'll lower the left heel down. So as you lower the left heel down, you might need to step the foot forward or out to the side a bit. We're going to tilt the chest forward to 45. And then on exhale, find your twist, left elbow to right knee. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist. Inhale to center. 3 more. And then lifting back up. Arms reach up. Palms can press. Everything's engaged here, from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. On your exhale, weight comes into the right leg, left knee comes into the chest. Lift it up high, hands to heart. And then opening left knee out to the left side. Really feeling right glute engaged. On your exhale, we'll release, left foot down. Inhale, reach the arms forward, sit back to your chair pose. Maybe torso comes down, parallel to the ground. On your next exhale, sit down, bring the legs out, find your boat pose. So any variation of boat pose is fine here. Let's clasp the hands, press the palms away. So really turning the hands out to find a stretch in the shoulders. Now releasing the hands, palms up. Inhale, lower down halfway. Exhale, lift. We'll do 4 more like that. Cross the ankles, roll forward. Step back to plank. On your exhale, slow lower down. Extra slow if you can. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra, sphinx or up dog. Release. Press back to child's pose. Bring forearms down. Rock forward so the weight is in the arms. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, and find your dolphin pose. So here, looking for a stretch in the upper back and shoulders. Lower the knees down. Rock back to the hips, find a seat. We'll bring the legs out in front. We're gonna cross. Right leg over left. And then again, tipping the pelvis forward, tailbone reaches back. Inhale to lift up. We'll switch legs. Inhale to lift. Soles of the feet together, knees wide, and we'll hinge forward. So here the stretch might be inner thighs, outer hips, glutes, back, neck, shoulders, almost anywhere. Inhale to lift up. Let's lower down onto our backs for Shavasana. Taking a few deep breaths, let the body relax. Try to keep your focus on your breath. Start to bring some gentle movement into fingers, toes, wrists, and ankles. And then make your way up to a seat. hands to heart. Deep breath in. Full exhale out. Om Shanti.
Thanks, Amanda.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.